got cards like Bonfire, Barter and Blood. He has Dissipate for some of Parker's late game spells, and Parker really doesn't have a Cavernous Souls as his deck because he's Dark Knight. He can't afford it. He's playing 4 colors.
I remember when I played Dark Knight in Vegas, someone played an Olivia against me, and I was horrified because I realized how terribly positioned I was against that card. I had like 1 Oblivion Ring in my 75, and other than that, I've got big Bonfire of the Dams. That's all I can do.
That's exactly what Parker has. Parker has 2 Oblivion Rings as an answer to an Olivia.
And Celestia Charms, which depending on how they play, you might be able to snag them there too. But so that makes him a little better off. Like in Vegas, I would never have been able to beat this deck in probably a million years.
Yeah.
Parker might have some outs.
He might. Although, you know, Jared does have Mizium Mortars as well. So.
Yeah, that is a sizable game. It basically just is always the good version of Bonfire in this matchup.
So Parker gets out to a really good start. Potential for a turn 3 Thragtusk here, which is always good against control deck. Jared does have 2 copies of Syncopate, which could be able to stop it, but he draws a Bonfire, almost reveals it.
Almost. That's an autopilot. It's interesting because depending on what land Jared plays, that might actually affect Parker's play a lot. Like, I would assume my opponent just had like a bad Black-Red Zombies hand at this point, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, different creatures are definitely better depending on the matchup. Jared is probably not that fearful of just a Thragtusk, I guess just a beater.
So, yep, turn 3 Thragtusk, pretty much the ideal start for Parker.
It looks like an ultimate price, I think I saw.
Yeah, it looks like he's
got removal.
Doesn't really have any of the blue mana that he needs.
Yeah, he did keep a landlight hand, but he's got plenty of spells on tap.
Kind of not sure this is the ideal scenario because he might want to have to try to kill the Thragtusk on his turn, play around Restoration Angel, but works out for him, you know. Parker doesn't have the Restoration Angel, so he basically gets to shut down that attack. Might have wanted to wait to see if he could have gotten activation of Keswick Wolfrun out of it. Because Parker didn't attack with the Pilgrim, you'd expect that would be a possibility. But
yeah, I found that peculiar, actually. I would definitely have swung with the Pilgrim because it's the same difference for Keswick Wolfrun. And then, you know, I would probably have pumped the Pilgrim before I ever pumped the
Exactly, yeah.
So I think we missed out on a fair amount of damage there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Parker decided not to attack there. But drew another Thragtusk, which puts him in a pretty good spot. See if he attacks with the Pilgrim this time. And he does. Jared's still without blue mana. I know he drew Jace last turn.
We're definitely getting to the point where those things are starting to become pretty threatening. You know, you can literally only take 4 times.
Yeah.
So, at which point you're dead. He really needs another 2 removal spells to take care of a Thragtusk, which is not ideal, or he needs to find some blue mana to actually pull ahead.
I think he's got an Olivia here, which isn't the worst card. I mean, Parker's hand, I believe, contains a Bonfire.
So he can already clear it?
So he could clear it.
That's rough.
He also drew a Huntmaster, so
yeah,
pretty much just going to clear the board, swing through. So Jared's deck's not really performing up to what we thought it could.
Does he actually have outs to this situation? I'm not even sure if he does.
Top deck Bonfire might. No. Desolate Eye, yes. Oh, Kirun.
Oh.
Kirun's actually not that bad in this
spot.
spot.
That is not bad at all, yeah.
Parker's going to play a Huntmaster, but, you know, he's got a Smiter.
Smiter and a Huntmaster, okay.
So, yeah, this turn's going to be really good for Parker. If he plays both creatures, next turn he could just swing with everyone, and the Wolfrun can pretty much finish off whatever the Kirun doesn't block. So, still looking pretty good for Parker.
I imagine he's doing the math right now to see if he might be interested in just jamming, but that's not correct. And it's just not going to wind up being right.
Yeah, he also he doesn't know if you know, Jared might have another Searing Spear. You're not really sure. Might be a reasonable play. You know,
the biggest nightmare is Tragic Slip, right? Like, or no, I guess the Kirun's going to be Summoning 6, so that wouldn't be that bad. But like, if you could first strike and then slip the other guy, that would be.
Yeah, like the thing I hate about this play is, if Parker decides to play both these creatures now, he's really vulnerable to Bonfire, top deck Bonfire. Whereas if he still has the Thragtusk, you know, you're going to kill your opponent next turn anyway. So I don't love the play of just playing.
We can't play a Lockstone Smiter.
Maybe he didn't want to commit both creatures
fair.
to the board. If he tries to cast a Smiter, then we know he just made a mistake.
Yeah.
But you know, again, maybe he doesn't want to overexpose himself to Bonfire the Dam, but if that's the case, don't bother attacking. You know, just jam your guys out there. If he top decks a Bonfire, it's fine because you kill him on the untap anyway.
Well, he needs a good one here. Sure draws.
Bonfire? No. Museum Mortars, possibly?
Yeah, I was supposed to say, he needed a land would give him like a Bonfire for 3.
Maybe he has one in his hand.
I think we saw him like almost like semi-miracle Bonfire earlier, maybe not?
That's right, he drew one on turn 1, so he has one in his hand.
He really wanted a land right here. A land actually would have put him right back in the game.
Exactly, yeah.
Big
problem is he can't get rid of the Beast token, so even if he does Bonfire, Parker's able to just attack with the Beast token and pump it for 4, killing Jared.
He's going to Bonfire 5 for 2. Putting Key Rune out there. Little intimidation play with the Key Rune. We'll just put it up front and center.
Yep. Hope that Parker doesn't realize that he can't activate it.
I like that. Whatever.
It's a bold move.
It's better than
bold strategy.
Not a lot better, but
and attack.
It doesn't fall for that one.
Parker sees right through that. I still had all these. Probably wouldn't have showed what I was playing.
The only way Parker could have known that Jared was even playing blue was if he,
specifically
noticed that Desolate Lighthouse.
Yeah, if he noticed the Lighthouse.
Easy to overlook.
Really no reason there. That's basically like, I would have beaten you had I drawn an island. No reason to show about there. Don't give your opponent information, especially when they have to figure out what to bring in against you.
I mean, if he's planning to board out the Syncopates, then that might be a reasonable thing to show, but I don't think he is. Like, they seem awesome.
I don't think it was a strategy. I think he was just frustrated there.
Yeah, I agree. Syncopate is definitely a huge card in the matchup. Any counterspell is, mostly because of the Rakdos' returns, which, you know, they can otherwise just take Jared right out of the game completely. He'll very rarely have a superior board presence.
Yeah.
So losing his hand is game over. He can't afford to have that happen.
I mean, Parker's got some good cards against Jared. He's got Zealous Conscripts, which is great against Tameo.
Yep.
Another Rakdos return. Might board in the Slaughter games. It's generally, I think you want that card against Sphinx's Revelation. It's a little risky against Jared because, one, I'm not sure Parker's going to know exactly what's in Jared's deck and what to name.
I think that's the biggest disincentive for sure. Like,
yeah, I mean, he might want it for Bonfire the Dam because clearly there was a board state where Bonfire would have wrecked him, so he might bring it in against Bonfire. Don't think Celestia Charm is going to be very good against him. Probably doesn't really need the Angel Serenity. Maybe doesn't need 3 Bonfires.
Yeah, I think that he'll definitely probably cut some, if not all, of the Bonfires. They seem the weakest. The Charm is not great. It can protect a guy from a Bonfire. I think that's like a pseudo-reasonable functionality. But beyond that, I'm not excited about it. Yeah. I guess maybe it runs over a Key Rune sometimes, too.
Yeah. I mean, I could see boarding out the Charms, the 3 Bonfires, and the Serenity for the 3 Slaughter games, the Rakdos Return, and the Conscripts. Just because, again, a lot of times maybe Bonfire might be his only out.
Okay.
Maybe he wants to name Museum Mortars. He wants to get rid of those Wrath effects, I think.
I think that I would probably only be bringing in 2 Slaughter games if I was Parker, since it's more of a situational play rather than like I'm closing out how they win the game.
Yeah.
Like against the blue-white red decks, like I'd bring in all 4 because like all you got to do is hit that Rev and like maybe one other card and they're dead. But this deck, it's a lot tougher to name the right card.
It's also not bad if he has the Rakdos Return and he wants to force it and he just goes, I'm going to name Dissipate.
Yeah,
You're probably not going to board it out against me because I don't have Cavernous Souls. I'm going to make you get rid of all your Dissipates, and now my Conscripts and my Rakdos Return are pretty much going to resolve for the rest of the game.
That's a totally reasonable line. Yeah. It's not super intuitive to Slaughter Games counterspells.
Exactly,
but it can very easily be correct, but when you're bringing in these, a better card.
Yeah, you're bringing in these game back-breaking spells against control, like Return. You're going to be up to 3 returns. You're going to have a Conscript. I don't think it's an unreasonable play. But again, we'll see what Parker does here.
Over on Jared's end, he has a number of similar spells. He has Slaughter Games. I think he's going to bring in probably his Barter and Blood, go up to 2 of those. They're not great, but they do 1-for-1 with a Huntmaster, which is actually more than a lot of his cards can say.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Counterflux, maybe if he wants more counter spells. But Cyclonic Rift, I think, is actually pretty interesting. When the board develops into these like dead Thragtusks a lot of the time, or like they're just Restoration Angeling the day away, Cyclonic Rift can actually set them back pretty far.
Yeah, I think if Jared can get to the point where he can get to 7 mana, which I think he can with this deck. I mean, Naya's not going to put a lot of pressure on you early, and Jared has a lot of removal. he could get to the point where being able to just go bounce all your permanents, play a Planeswalker, could put him ahead. But again,
Cyclonic Rift in a Nicol Bolas is a pretty sweet line.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As they go. Then again, if he's got to face down Zealous Conscripts, it can also be a little dangerous.
Yes.
I've had a Nicol Bolas Zealous Conscripted, and I've Zealous Conscripted it, and one of those felt a lot better than the other.
I think his game plan really has to be Cyclonic Rift, Rakdos Return.
Sure. Oh, that's
try
really
to get
sweet
there.
too. Yeah.
I think that's probably what his game plan is going to be.
I didn't even think about that one. That's adorable.
Yeah, he's going to try to just get to 7 mana and have that combination of cards there. And Parker's going to 5, I believe now. So Jared gets a little fist bump there.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with Dark Naya is it actually does not have a lot of card advantage. Like the Blue Naya decks can pull back in with a Sphinx's Revelation. It really relies on just cobbling together its draw steps correctly. Like the Borderland Ranger and the Farseeks they're fixers. You want to play like 4 spells, and you want those 4 spells to beat the opponent. That's like the general game plan.
Yeah, and a card like Rakdos Return is actually really good against Naya because it's a mid-range deck.
Oh yeah.
Again, doesn't put that much pressure on you. You might be able to waste a turn dealing 4 to them and make him discard 4. You might take a hit from a Thragtusk and maybe a Wolf token or something, but you're not going to be dead, and then you can untap and just cast Museum Mortars or Bonfire or something.
Yeah, it was actually specifically that matchup that gave rise to Dark Naya in the first place. Brad, after Baltimore, the SCG Baltimore that was won by Naya, Brad was looking for a deck to like crush Naya, and just added Rakdos' returns to his Naya deck, and all of a sudden, very easy matchup.
So here, Parker in 5, no turn 2 Farseek, which means that Jared's going to be in good shape, especially if he goes Rakdos Keyring here. Oh no, but still, if you can get a Tameo.
Yeah, I think he probably has a Dissipate or something. Yeah, stuck on 3 again is rough. Oh,
Slaughter Games here.
Slaughter Games those Dissipates.
Perfect for Dissipate if you can get it. I mean,
I feel like that's got to be.
I would name Dissipate.
Yeah, your opponent
it's a great name. If he keeps this kind of hand on the play.
What do we name?
Wow.
Oh, there is a Dissipate. Okay, our read was right.
Yeah.
His hand is reasonably strong. Olivia is also a fine name. It's one of the better trumps in the matchup. That hand is pretty serious business if it gets going.
Yeah, I don't fault him for keeping his. If his hand had the 3 lands in the opener, pretty sure you don't want to ship. You're going to assume that you're going to be able to get there, especially if your opponent mulligans, which he didn't know, but.
One of the things about hands like this too is like these are the cards that are important, right? Like you have the Dissipate, you want that. You have he brought in those Slaughter Games. I guess that's reasonable too. He clearly like boarded in, so he wants it. He has Rakdos Return, he wants those. He wants Tameos, he wants removal. Like this hand has all of the spells he wants. Like if he mulligans, he's only hoping for a worse hand that has like more mana.
Yeah.
That's all he can ever find.
I actually like the Slaughter Games here because he can name conscripts, which is really important because his Planeswalkers are so much worse if Parker has a conscript here. So depending on the board situation, I could definitely see him naming conscripts there.
I agree with that. I brought in Slaughter Games playing another Planeswalker-based deck specifically for conscripts and Olivia's. Like those are just hard cards to beat.
Oh wow, perfect card.
And I imagine he'll probably name Thragtusk. Yeah, that seems like the most likely.
Yeah. He has a Rakdos Return of his own.
Yeah, but his is more of a Blightning than a Rakdos' Return. I think I like Jared's position now that we hit that land. Our opponent has got an Angel, a mostly dead Oblivion Ring. Like now that we know it's there, we can play accordingly.
I mean, it's a great land to draw too, because the Lighthouse pretty much guarantees you can start filtering through to try to get more land. But
if this game just devolves into a do nothing war, the guy with the Lighthouse is obviously heavily favored.
Although I got to be honest, Parker having a Restoration Angel here is pretty good.
Well, Jared has the 2 ultimate prices.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of pressure. It'll make him do something. Yeah. That's for sure.
If he draws a land here, I think he just casts Return for 3.
Yeah, probably.
Because he knows Jared has the Dissipate, wants to try to get it at least some value out of it.
If you make your opponent just keep like Counterspell and no action, that's not so bad either.
Yeah, I mean the thing is he knows what's in Jared's hand. Making him discard 3 of those cards is going to be fine anyway. I mean, they're all really good. So, and it might be your only way to deal with those Planeswalkers because I'm not sure if Jared's willing to discard both of his ultimate prices.
Yeah, probably not. After seeing the Angel, I don't think he can afford to.
Yeah. But he doesn't draw a 5th land, so probably going to get a Farseek here.
Yeah, Farseek can pass. I guess he's going to be hoping Jared taps out for a Planeswalker and he gets the Rakdos Return, but that doesn't seem likely. Yeah,
but even still,
I know what's going on.
If he plays a Rakdos Return, and if he plays a Cameo and just taps a land, then he knows Parker has the Oblivion Ring. So pretty sure he's just going to hold off until he can cast a Rakdos Return to make sure the path is clear. He's in no hurry, like you said, with the 2 ultimate prices.
The board is shape. The board pretty close, but whoa, he's
gets rid of his hand. Yep,
dumping. Yep, that's it.
So that's pretty much the game at this point.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be almost impossible for Parker to come back against just multiple Planeswalkers slamming the board.
Yeah,
plus he has
with
the
2 prices, with a Dissipate. It's going to be tough. And he's getting closer to Nicol Bolas. Probably going to tap one of the white lands.
Yeah.
Conscripts.
And that's a reasonable one.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be that devastating.
It wouldn't be great, no, but...
Nicol Bolas.
Still tapped. Now that we can go... Oh, I would have paid the 2 there to Lighthouse plus Dissipate. Just for value, you know.
Alright. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely take 2 there. You want to dig through your deck.
If we hit that land, it's just instantly over. Like that's
it's just over.
What?
Can he not? How much is? I don't get it. How much is Nicol Bolas?
Oh, he's 8.
8, right?
Yeah,
Does he not have enough color?
No, he's got color.
He has all the colors, right?
I think we just like slammed that off the top of our deck. I think maybe we drew another counterspell and we're just like fully thinking we're.
Let's hope Parker doesn't draw Slaughter Games and name Nicol Bolas.
Yeah. I think conservative would be an understatement on that Blood Crypt.
Maybe he's afraid of conscripts. I mean, it's possible he's just afraid of conscripts.
That's fair, but both our permanents are so sweet. I mean, if you want to, if we had a counterspell, I guess I don't mind that, but like, we don't. We can just, all we can do is get way farther ahead, right?
I think his plan is just to win with Tamio. He doesn't care. It's like, or he just didn't want to cast it last turn for some reason.
This is a little weird, but you know, whatevs. Probably gonna work out for the best.
It's gonna work, yeah. He draws a conscript, so be it.
Oh. He drew Slaughter Games. Oh, what a psychic.
Unbelievable.
Holds the Nicol Bolas until the turn before the Slaughter Games. Oh, that worked out just fine. Yeah,
and there's a concession. So that's kind of what you'd expect Jared's deck to do. Looked a lot better this game than it did the first.
Yep. He really does just want to like stabilize on the board and be dropping bombs, these Planeswalkers specifically. He did bring in Slaughter Games. Makes it a little more interesting now that they both have that effect. A little bit of a you know, figuring out what's correct to name, what people are actually playing to. But mostly it does seem to be like Rakdos' Return is probably the best card in the matchup, right?
Yeah. And I like the Slaughter Games a lot more in Jared's deck just because he has Snapcaster Mage. Mm-hmm. So if you draw 1 and you have a Snapcaster, the second's obviously going to be much better because now you have much more information. So be interesting to see if Parker makes any changes for Game 3 now that he's on the play.
I think having additional familiarity, like Jared's much able to target his Slaughter Games way more effectively than Parker, who mostly just has to like figure out what he thinks is going to be important. He doesn't even necessarily know like what's going on, what quantities Jared runs.
Yeah,
whereas his deck list is much more predictable.
Exactly. Like even though Parker resolved the Slaughter Games this game, and he was able to look through Jared's deck, so he knows what's in Jared's deck now. He knows what his sideboard cards are. Jared's deck is still very diverse in terms of the threats and the kind of cards that can hurt Parker. So, you know, maybe he wants to name Bonfire and Jared has the Mizium Mortars. You know, maybe the reverse is true. Maybe he wants to name Rakdos Return. It's tough to really know what the right card is to name because there's just so many cards that just wreck Parker.
Slaughter Games is like much worse at that in real life too. On Moto, you have the luxury of being able to like screenshot the deck, you know, when you're Slaughter Gamesing them, which you should do, by the way, like 100% of the time. But IRL, it's pretty hard to actually remember all of those cards. You're like, oh, what did I see? Did he have that one?
Especially round 9, you're exhausted. You don't want to think that hard. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to name a Thragtusk because that's annoying.
Your note-taking capacity is also a little limited in real life to not their entire deck.
Can you take a picture? Can you lay out their deck on the table and take a picture with your phone?
That's a question for greater minds than myself, I think.
So, yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that Parker has this black splash makes this matchup very interesting. I mean, they both have access to Rakdos Return. Not sure, you know, how good it's going to be, how good the counterspells are going to be for Jared now that Parker's on the play. And he can sneak, if he can jump the mana, if he gets either the Pilgrim or the Farseek, he can maybe sneak in a threat under that Dissipate mana, and then suddenly he's going to force Jared to respond. I mean, you can't not cast sorcery speed removal because Parker could have a Restoration Angel, especially if it's Huntmaster and you cast no spells and it just flips. You know, suddenly the number of answers you have to that are reduced. So on the play, the counterspells definitely get much worse for Jared when Parker's on the play. It's
a very perilous situation as well because as you're tapping up with these spells now, because of the mana advantage, Parker's Rakdos' returns can get your hand significantly faster, especially when you're playing spells to reply to what's going on in the board.
Exactly.
So Parker's looking for a hand with threats and a little bit of fast mana, whereas Jared wants plenty of lands, some kill spells, counterspell, maybe one. Like
this time's Jared's turn to mulligan.
Yeah, his deck does not seem like one that mulligans especially well either.
No, it doesn't play anything twice.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much a staple in blue-based control decks, but Jared decided, forget it, I'll take my chances, just going to load it up with removal spells.
One of the cards I do like in decks like this, a card I actually spent a lot of time just trying to play with because it seems sweet, is Rakdos Keyring.
Yeah.
Really unsung hero, I think, in control decks like this. The ability to block, even to be a little bit aggressive against some decks. I think it's just a really sweet card.
I think it's really good, especially when you have like 3 Tami on your deck, which I'm not sure why people skimp on the numbers. Like, why only play 3? It's a card that you almost always want. And I don't think it gets that much worse if you draw 2. It's like, I think you should play 4 Rakdos Keyring, especially in a deck like this, you know?
Rakdos Keyring is a big card in block, so I wouldn't be surprised if, especially once Innistrad rotates, we just see it showing up a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got that Farseek.
He's got it.
Look at him go. An Overgrown Tomb or a Blood Crypt here, I imagine, one of the two.
Well, it doesn't look like his hand has that much more action. Like, he has an Oblivion Ring, but not the ideal hand you want in this scenario.
These are the kind of hands you just get forced into keeping with Naya because it's better than like an average 6, and if you draw a good spell, like your hand's awesome.
I mean, you have a Farseek, you have an answer to a Planeswalker, so certainly not the worst hand, but against a deck like Jared's, it can be very scary because Jared can just resolve some really powerful spells, and if you don't put any pressure on him, there's nothing really you can do about it.
Parker, yeah, it looks like he just has a lot of lands in an Oblivion Ring. I didn't see anything else. That's another land.
I know he's got
2 Oblivion Rings?
Yeah, it looks like he's another white spell there, but no action. So he's giving Jared plenty of time here.
He has 2 different Oblivion Rings and a bunch of lands. That's his hand.
So Jared's got a Ghost Quarter. More lands for Parker. Looks like Jared has some counter spells, but no double blue. Does have a Ghost Quarter if he really wants to go
get there.
So it looks like Parker finally drew Restoration.
Yep, he's got a threat. Whoa, stop, I have an end step.
Very up.
Yep. Well, that's convenient for Jared because he's not going to be discarding down to 7 this turn. I imagine he's got to have like something for this, right? No ultimate price. No Syncopate. Well, I guess Syncopate doesn't.
He's got a lot of blue cards. Yep. Yes, the discarded Tamiya.
Is it Charmed?
It looks like it, yeah.
I would have probably.
Not sure why he doesn't
to just draw some cards.
Wow.
Boom. Dynamite.
Right.
Well, we're going to play our Syncopate. Okay.
Oh, he's got the Syncopate.
That's fine use of Syncopate in this game. It's obviously not getting any better.
That's a 3. Oh, wow.
All right, taking 2. I know we have a Dreadbore. I saw that much.
Jared's mana really is looking pretty terrible this game. So why would you play the Blood Crypt untapped?
Yeah, I think he got ahead of himself. Maybe he thought he was going to do something else.
Yeah.
Legacy Challenge players, your
That's not a threat, but it's pretty threatening.
Please find your seats. Once again, Legacy Challenge
Now
players,
the game.
preparing to the final round are now up.
He named Slaughter Games? I don't like that at all. 2 Is It Charms? Man, I would have burned one of those looking for some lands a while ago.
Yeah, why? You gotta dig. You have...
I mean, we already had a card to discard in the second Is It Charms.
I don't understand why you wouldn't be digging here, especially when Parker was just playing lands for so many turns.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have gotten a blue sooner, countered the Restoration Angel. Suddenly Parker, you know, it's not like Parker's winning right now. He has an Oblivion Ring, I think, left in his hand and some lands.
Yeah. I mean, this is still very easily Jared's game if he just finds another blue source. If he finds a land, he can just Rakdos return Parker's hand, right?
Yeah. And it's great because if he wants to, if he draws a blue source, he can cast Jace here. Or if he wants to just bin one of his lands and get another island with the Ghost Quarter, it might be worth it, especially if Parker doesn't have another play here.
I think you have to return the Grip mostly because of the fear of the Oblivion Ring, which we obviously know Parker has them.
Yeah.
I think we need to return first. That's one of the most powerful things the deck does, right? Is you just
yeah, but
return
he doesn't.
and then play a Planeswalker?
He doesn't have. I don't know. I just want mana.
Land, easy game. Get him.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Easy enough.
We need a sweet one here on Parker's side, otherwise.
So Parker probably wishes he named Rakdos Return.
Yeah. I think like that seemed like a card very much worth naming in general.
So suddenly Jared becomes firmly in the driver's seat here.
Huntmaster, that might resolve. He can stop it by Ghost Quartering for an island.
He has an Is It Charm to kill the Huntmaster.
Oh wait, he actually doesn't have basic lands. He cannot Ghost Quarter for
he has
sources.
no.
He has no basic lands in his entire deck, so that's a little awkward. I imagine he's considering that at the moment, thinking, you know, that would have been having one island would really have been kind of nice in this game. That's one of the kind of tournament hindsights, I think. You find yourself thinking, you're like, you know, I didn't really think that this would come up, but it did.
Bonfire.
Do we have that second Is It Charm? Because if so, I've got an idea.
Yeah. You kind of knew about that one, Parker. Oh, brother.
Yeah, I think he's thinking like, man, why didn't I just leave open 2?
What? Just because I tapped all my mana doesn't mean that I'm using it all.
Well, now I feel like Jared looks pretty good, even though he can't cast his counter spell.
You know what? Honestly, I might have preferred to just dig for islands. Like you can't keep hoping Parker doesn't draw anything. Like, you know, just
8's a lot. I don't know. I mean, I wish that if Parker had paid 2, I think he would have been fine with it. Obviously, like you can't counter anyway, but like it would be like that's a lot of damage.
Finally, okay. Well, at least he's got Jace now.
He can do whatever.
I think all judges not actively watching table matches.
For cameo?
Oh, okay. No, we're just tapping correctly.
Judges not actively watching table matches. You come to the deck check area, please.
There's a Jace. A little Factor Fiction. And now we're getting all the lands we want.
Yeah, that's the
probably getting a
snap.
Probably,
yeah.
No. Decides to just take the lands instead.
He's got an Angel to threaten the Jace. No ultimate price for Jared, I imagine.
Yeah, and again.
Ooh, Zealous Conscripts, I think.
Oh, wow.
That's a nice one.
Steal the Key Rune.
I think I steal the Jace and draw a card.
I don't know. What, Jared's at 15? He could do 11 this turn?
I guess that's fair. Well, we're taking the card. Sure you don't want to just pick that force back up?
God, I really like doing 11.
11's a good number. I'll grant
now he can only deal 3?
Yeah, I did forget that the constructs can't attack this turn.
I feel like if you do 11 this turn, you have so many more outs, like Rakdos returns an out. Conscripts, Conscripts is an out.
I think I send the Wolf token to the Jason. Just go ahead and get that guy off the board, though. Like, right?
Yeah, you can, but you can kill the Jace if you want.
I like your play now better.
Just,
like,
I think Parker must know that he's behind. You know, even though he just top deck a Conscripts, you didn't do much with it.
Yeah, our Jace draw was definitely not worth 5 damage, which is what we could have gotten.
Yeah.
Or 6. Like, yeah, we could have gotten 6 and killed the Jace. So I think if we can just convert a card in our deck into 6 damage, we would prefer to do that, generally speaking. Yeah, we did get that for us.
Yeah, you could have stolen the Kirun and used the Wolf to attack the Jace if you want. Dropped Jared down to 6. Yeah. You know, that's fine too. But you got to do something. You got to hope that Jared makes a mistake here and taps, which he does.
Well, that's a rock in a hard place. Museum Wars is not what Parker wants to see coming off the top of the deck.
So does he have enough to cast it? I don't believe so. No. He can cast it just to kill the Restoration Angel. But again, you know, this would be, and Jared decides not to cast it. So again, if Parker top decks a Rakdos turn, still game. Bonfire too, so. Just has a, he has Slaughter Games, so bye-bye Museum Mortars.
One of the beautiful things about Jason's spot is, like, Jared actually doesn't mind just losing it to, like, make combat awkward for Parker. Like, just getting attacked for a bunch would be pretty bad for him. But to kill the Jace, the Angel just has to go there, and then there are no good attacks on your life total, right? Like, trading one of your guys for 5 damage is not especially impressive here.
He could send everything but the Conscripts.
I mean, he's going to see what's up first, which is a strong play. Maybe Dissipate. Not the Museum Wars.
I actually like this play. I think his plan is, all right, I'm just going to try to top deck a Reckless Return to Bonfire and win that way.
Put him out, yeah. He's already seen the 2 Izzet Charms, 1 Syncopate, and now all the Dissipates are gone. If he did keep stock of all of Jared's counter magic, then he knows there's only 1 Syncopate left at most.
Yep.
Oh, unless he brought in the counter fluxes, but we haven't seen those, so I would kind of probably assume not at this juncture.
Yeah, I think Parker might be kicking himself for not stealing the Kirun and dealing max damage last turn.
No, I definitely, it was not the play I would have first considered, clearly, but I agree it definitely would have worked out better. That Borderland Ranger is really not impressing.
Yeah.
And that's what we got instead of 6 damage.
If you take the Dissipate, you have to attack Jared. You can't, because the only reason to take Dissipate is to say, I'm going to try to win with my X spells.
To be fair,
I don't think he has enough.
I think you can attack Jared and Jace here, because, like, once you get him in range of any X spell, like, so...
No, but, he has to attack with everything. He can't just attack with the Angel. That's
right.
The point.
I think Angel into Jace and then everything at Jared is totally fine to put him on 7, because then, like, every X spell kills him off the top, so that's fine.
So, yeah, drops into 8.
That's what he did. Yeah.
Drops into 8, loses the Conscripts. So, yeah, not the worst scenario.
Yep.
Jared can play Museum Mortis here. Now he's just all in an Expos.
It's a reasonable play. I like this. When you're in a tough spot, you know. Not much else to do. Tribute to Hunger. Oh, that's dirty. Amusingly, the Museum Mortars will deprive him of the ability to use it.
Well, yeah. Let's see if Jared thinks I need to gain some life to get myself out of burn range, but I don't think so. I think he's just going to cast it.
Yeah, I agree. He's just going to cast it. It'll be especially funny if he winds up getting got.
Because there's no way Parker's going to play around Tribute to Hunger. Like, if he top decks a creature, he's going to cast it. Great card would be Conscripts.
That's a Luxon Smiter.
Wow.
That's one of the worst ones. We don't get anything, and he gets to tribute us.
Yeah.
And he's going to.
So now I believe he's out of Bonfire and Rakdos Return range.
Yep, he's out of both of those. At least Rakdos' return is still pretty good, but it's not ideal.
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
Jared can end this game pretty quickly. He has to start.
Oof.
Wow. Okay.
Those are probably not going to be the piles. Yeah, there we go. Jared's thinking it over.
I think
if he takes that one, I think it means he attacks with Rakdos Key Run this turn.
Yeah, I think you want to attack.
He
with
has
Key Run.
a Rakdos' return, so he can
end the
Parker
game very quickly. Yeah.
Pretty good. They took the Tommy. Okay. Tap that thing. And that's it.
Just the land.
No, we need a few more of those to make our X-Spells lethal again. So.
Yeah, so...
Still 3 lands shy of a Bonfire, 4 lands shy of a Rakdos' return.
I'd probably just Foff here, yeah.
Yeah.
Attack with the Key Rune.
Snapcaster.
All right, you're getting a Snapcaster no matter what.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this game's out of reach now.
I agree. He only has the conditional counter spells, Syncopate and Is It Charm, but those will counter all of those X spells.
And enough to make sure that he's not going to die.
Yeah.
Parker can't X out now. He can't max out on any of them.
I guess he can still runner. Like if he goes runner.
I'm not sure though. I think Jared has enough to kill. Like if he drops him to 16, how much mana is he out there?
Oh yeah, I guess the Syncopate messes up the math because that'll really depend on how much is going on. Yeah, that's tough.
Why is he not attacking with the Key Rune?
Yeah, this is a little much. Come on, just get him. You have to win on damage.
Yeah, I don't know what he's trying to do here. If he's trying to be tricky to win with the
I guess he's holding open the Snapcaster for Syncopate so he can just counter whatever spell. Thing is, most of Parker's spells aren't even good.
Yeah,
like this one.
Why are you afraid of these cards?
This Huntmaster is actually really obnoxious because Jared doesn't want to burn the Syncopate on it. It's his best counter spell in his graveyard. But he also, like, if he lets it resolve, now he has to stop it from flipping for the rest of the game.
Well, no, he can cast. He can cast it on the Is It Charm and kill the Huntmaster that way.
Yeah, I know he can, but then he's still lost the Snapcaster, so he doesn't have the Syncopate anymore. It's the same difference, you know. Like,
I think if he just attacked, the game would be over.
We need to be aggressive, and now that there's actually a threat on the board, that becomes significantly more difficult. Tapping the Huntmaster, that implies we're going to let it live.
And he lets it flip now.
That will flip that guy.
Did he miss the trigger? Oh.
Yeah, we missed a Huntmaster trigger. That's awkward.
That's awkward. So, could have possibly dropped Jarrett to 10,
which is
putting him in Bonfire
range.
Yeah. 7, 10. Yeah, it would have been exactly enough for Bonfire range.
Oblivion Ring is not the worst. That slides in under the Syncopate as well, I believe. Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So, you know, Jared's really exposing himself here. He's really lucky that Parker missed the trigger there because, you know, now he's at least not dead to an X-Spell, but he has to start attacking. He's letting this game slip away. Granted, Parker has to get lucky by runner, X-Spell, but he's giving him the option to get that going. So.
Did I miscount it?
Looks like he had the Key Rune too, so.
No, I counted the Key Runes. I thought it was still only 8. Maybe he had a land off screen that I couldn't see.
All right, so now he's going to be able to attack with the Wolf.
He is deaf?
I think he might have had a land. Oh.
That Sulphur Falls was tapped on the turn. Like, he's paying 8. Yeah, now, he mistapped this.
Is that a mistap?
He played the Steam Vents tapped on his turn. Yep, he's saying that Steam Vents was tapped on your turn, man.
Oh, so now he's trying to pay one more.
Yep, but okay, so he had a land off screen we couldn't see, but he declared the wrong Syncopate. Oh.
So he let him pay one more? Okay.
I guess. Maybe he declared it for
If he said,
9,
I'm paying 9, then he has to just tap another mana.
Then that was incorrect tapping instead of
well,
just
I don't know why he doesn't attack with the Wolf there.
He's not going to kill himself. I'm just saying. that's the way the game works.
Parker could have attacked the Wolf. Took a chance that Jared doesn't block.
Yeah, Jared, at this point.
Is he going to start attacking?
That also would have reflipped the Huntmaster if he had flipped it in the first place. Amusingly enough, the Snapcaster for Syncopate.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so he cast Barter. So yeah, I mean,
Snapcaster Mage should be dead.
Yeah.
Can we get the
Snapcaster has to die.
No, that guy can't attack. Stop it.
Stop attacking. Barter and blood.
Yeah. There we go. We figured that one out.
So probably should attack first, but.
And that barter also wouldn't have worked if the Huntmaster had flipped back. If we had flipped the Huntmaster, that error has cascaded really far from. That's a far seek.
I really hope Parker doesn't top deck Expel, because he's going to feel very upset.
At this point, I'm not even sure who I actually want to win, though.
Yeah, you know? Honestly, I'm not sure.
They both kicked a couple.
I would prefer a gentleman's agreement to just draw.
Neither of us is super invested.
So I think Jared just wants to win with Ultimate. Maybe he has a bet with his friends that he can win with an Ultimate Jace.
I think he's probably just a little tunnel vision. Like, he doesn't win with damage very often, so he doesn't see the opportunity available to him.
I don't know. I just don't know how you can not see this. I mean, your opponent has nothing in play and no cards in his hand. You have 6 power that you can attack with, and you still have 8 mana left. Yeah. So there's nothing, you know. Just attack him, kill him.
He's only 2 combat steps away from it, right? Like, he just gets in for 6, and then Rakdos returns. Although now I guess he can just cast a Rakdos return every turn until the game is over.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the worst either.
I would probably just cast Rakdos return right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you kill him next turn, right? It's enough. Yeah.
If it's enough, then yeah. I mean, even if it's not enough, then yeah. Like, what else do you have to do that's better than that?
6, 7, 8.
Actually, I guess it's the same difference. Yeah, I was thinking you should maybe attack, but no, that's the identical amount of damage. So, but for not the fulls. Looks like we're leaving mana open. I guess for a Snapcaster Mage to block a haste guy or something.
He's playing extremely passive here.
Yeah. Rakdos. Well, nice Rakdos return. That didn't do anything. Well, I feel like
Jared got the ultimate Tameo, so
yeah, Parker shouldn't be able to win, but he can runner X spells still. I think, like, if the top 2 cards of his deck are just bonfires, he might actually get him.
Yeah, he needs to runner right here. Well, if Rakdos return worked last time, we might as well do it again.
Yeah. The correct play rarely changes.
Yeah.
In my experience. He
decides to attack.
All right.
This
is a weird game.
This is a weird, interesting turn of events.
I agree with that block. That does.
All right, he gets his Snapcaster back. I don't like that block because of that. He gets his Snapcaster back.
Oh, that's fair. Tommy Wimbley's tricky.
No, just. Might as well just cast.
Still return for 1. Yeah, right. Like.
At the end of the last round, so if you'd like to buy cards, sell cards, or trade cards, you might want to make your way over there in the next hour or so. Also,
he's just afraid of. He's just playing around conscripts at this point.
Oh, there lands on screen. We can't see. Wow, he could have returned a little more, but I guess he's
I think he just doesn't want to lose the conscripts.
Yeah.
I think he's like, all right, or a maxed out Charm, or a maxed out.
He's just drawing 2
cards.
He does have to show him what the 2 cards are.
Yeah, he has to show him which 2 cards he wants to discard.
Which I would probably show him the Rakdos' return. But, all right, same diff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Attack with everything.
Yeah, I think he may still be keeping lands off screen, so like maybe we just have a lethal Rakdos return. I don't know. All right, attack with everything. All right.
Parker learned his lesson, decided not to block this time, but he knows about the Rakdos return, so I think he has to.
He probably has to throw the beast away to a key ring.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Or, no, that's okay.
some more Is It Charm shenanigans.
Yeah, now we can't peel a bonfire, right? I don't know. I guess we couldn't before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Nah, yeah, we couldn't do anything anyway. All right, let's try and magic our opponent right quick.
And he drew it. He drew the Rakdos return.
Did he really?
Yeah. He could have won this game. He finally got there. He needed to.
Well, leave open 2 and then return him. Like that's. He doesn't do anything, right? Like,
I don't think he has. I don't think he has enough to kill him.
I don't think so either. That's 11. Minus 2, 9.
9, so it's only 9.
Yep, but we're not dead on board either because we have the Beast token on D. So I guess he has the Rakdos return. Maybe he'll forget the Tamio trigger. That's our out here. Dump the hand, just leave it there.
Slide that avatar slightly further off screen here. I think the Rakdos return just kills him though.
Oh.
No, he
I
didn't.
thought he was doing it for a second.
No.
I was about to have a heart attack.
So he's just drawing 2 cards. You drew a bonfire now.
All right, we'll show those 2. All right. So far, our Tamio triggers are right on the spot. Just showing him the hand. Yeah.
Still had all these. Yep.
All right, I'm
There's
dead.
the game.
Man, I think that Huntmaster trigger might have like. That could have just actually been this game.
I feel like not stealing the key rune and dropping him really low.
I think like
he missed. It was basically like a 10-point swing.
Oh yeah.
And the Huntmaster was definitely a bad miss too. But
it would have bought him 2 turns before the Tamio got to Emblem.
Yeah,
that's the biggest.
He would have had
game,
the 2 tokens.
Yeah,
so.
like if he sent the damage to the Tamio instead of to the face, like in that spot.